I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry enormous guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
I have really the greatest job ever because I get to talk to people I admire. And it's funny, the reason we have MMA fighter Moicano on this lead into this hour is because one of the suits here at AM 560, The Answer, said, what you do is kind of a full contact radio. You're not a gentleman. You're not happy. You're not somebody who fights pleasantly like a happy warrior. But I get to talk to one right now. You hear him every day at 9 a.m. to 11 right here on AM 560, The Answer. Mike Gallagher, how are you?
I am so excited to be united with Shaun from Melrose Place or Melrose Park or MacArthur Park or whatever, where you called me years ago, and I remember you were a great caller, and sometimes great callers make fantastic hosts, and that is clearly the case with the Shaun Thompson Show. So I can't wait to see you this weekend.
I am so looking forward to it, and the reason I am, you came to Chicago for an event when a wonderful woman who I admire and love, she's great, Jeannie Ives, was challenging 7 foot of stupid Bruce Rauner, or Bruce Raunier, as I like to call him. And we were very involved in that, and you came to town, and at that time I was able to meet you, and I believe you had on a burgundy velvet coat as if you were in Starsky and Hutch Huggy Bear, and you had said to me, keep up the calls. And I will never forget that. And it really meant something to me because I've admired the way you do radio, even though we're vastly different. But you do. You have this happiness, this joy, this optimism. You're never too mean, even though I think, sometimes you should hip check somebody into the boards. You don't do it. And I love you for it. And you've been through ebbs and flows for how many years? I mean, you have done this for decades, haven't you?
Yeah, 45th year. This is my 45th year as a broadcaster, and it's been, kind of a wild ride because, like you, I started loving talk radio. I'd call into the local station in Ohio and wound up talking myself into a gig when I was a senior in high school, and I've just been at it ever since. But look, I'm so blessed to be on a team like the team we have at AM 560, The Answer. And so I've been I knew if I whined long enough and complained, they'd finally invite me back to the Freedom Summit because it's such a huge event. Look, and I'm not kidding you, the whole company talks about Chicago's big annual event, and to bring in our now colleague Scott Jennings from the Salem Radio Network and Dr. Ben Carson and have Dan and you and me and Jeannie's going to be back and our buddy Tom Sadeka and others. It's just something I've been looking forward to for a real long time. Just got back from Israel, as you may know, and we were even talking about the Chicago event over in Jerusalem because a few days back in Florida and then off to Chicagoland this weekend. So, look, you're right. You are an MMA fighter, and I'm sort of the vice president of the Happy to Be Here Club. But I am in a perpetual state of gratitude that we get to do this for a living, Shaun. I mean, look, it beats digging ditches, right?
Well, I have to tell you, yes, and I'm one of the few guys you talk to who has dug ditches. So here's the thing, too, I say this all the time, and I disarm myself in front of all the people I'm going to negotiate from time to time about a contract. I mean it. I would never work for another company. Never. Yeah. And you know what's funny, Mike? Yeah. I was in my 50s, late 40s, early 50s. I never had worked for anybody. Never. This was the first company I worked for. And I say that because they have this amazing platform. They take different people from different viewpoints, but operate towards the same goal. That's what I love. Right? I know.
There's a worldview. There's a worldview we all share, and our company's been through a lot. I mean, we lost Seb Gorka to the White House, and then Charlie Kirk filled that slot, and they killed Charlie. And so Salem has been, you talk about ebbs and flows, this is a wonderful company that has a heart, and like you said, has a stated mission, but let you do what you want to do. And I'm sure you found out through trial and error that they hired you for you, and they know what kind of personality you have. You've got a show bursting to get off your chest every day, and they respect that, and they love you for it, and your listeners love you for it. So you're right. We're so fortunate to work for a company like this one, because there's no other company like it in the country.
No, and I view these get-togethers as family reunions. I really do. And it's funny. I was blessed enough to start this about 10 years ago, maybe now I'm thinking 10 or 11, where I was filling in for a scoundrel who I never liked. I liked his wife, and it was that Joe Walsh, that con artist that used to be.
Oh boy.
And I had the pleasure of meeting Charlie at that time. But at that time, Trump was running, and I'm a capitalist, right? So I'm like, I didn't like his tariff scheme. He didn't articulate it, that New York half sentences. But now that I get it, I'm all on board, right? I even called your show, I think, about it, years ago. But I was able to meet that handsome kid. And I said, listen here, Gregory Peck, because you remember, to me, he looked like Gregory Peck. I said, you look like you're in 7th grade, you're 7 feet tall. Get the hell out of here, I got to do a show. And he started laughing. And I had the opportunity to bump into him throughout the years. And one of the things we talked about is this, how we really do have this common. We're very different people, all different people. But we talked about the station. I said, Charlie, it's shocking. These guys, they basically never tell me nothing. They don't say a word, nothing. They don't tell me what never to say, what to say, nothing. He said that's the beauty. That's the beauty of it, and that's why radio will be a success as long as you don't put leashes on the people who want to enlighten people.
And Shaun, make no mistake, the story about Charlie growing up in the suburbs of Chicago, loving Rush Limbaugh, are true. He loved the medium. He loved the station. I know he loved you. I was at a dinner a few weeks before he was killed with Andrew Colvett in my hometown of area of Tampa Bay, Florida. And they had a big advertiser thing. And they asked me to speak, and Andrew was there. And Andrew stood up and he said, I know that they say that Charlie grew up loving Rush, but he also grew up loving Mike Gallagher. His parents listened to talk radio and love it. And that was so humbling for me, especially after they killed him. I mean, I'm still not over it. I can't believe that it happened. It doesn't seem real. When you're friends with somebody and I don't know about you, I've not known anybody personally who's been killed. I go back to my text messages with Charlie, and he was one of a kind, and he created a movement. Look, without Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump isn't in the White House, and so that's the kind of clout and the ability he had to move mountains, and he's going to be missed, but his legacy is going to continue and carry on. And Shaun, look, you're a big part of that. I mean, we got to continue to carry the torch for him.
Well, it's one of the best things about the whole medium is that it becomes a family, and people look at you like an uncle, like a father, like a brother,
right.
And they know you, right. And they do, because this is the beauty of radio. You're not hiding. There ain't no place to hide. It's you and a microphone, and it's that relationship that I think we're all so blessed. And I mean blessed to be able to do this. And I'm looking forward to the family reunion. And I'm looking forward to you personally and telling me all about Israel, which I have never been. And I am dying to go. And I've been listening to you talk about it. And it has to be just something that is absolutely fantastic. And you seem to be, if this was the Love Boat, you would be Gopher. You're on everything. You're on the cruise. You're on the flights. What do I? I mean, isn't the head guy from Chicago? You think he'd say, "Hey, Shaun, you want to go on a cruise with Mike Gallagher?" Nothing.
Listen, don't threaten me with a good time. We'll take you to the next Patriots Alaska cruise, or we'll go somewhere fun, because it is a blast to be up close and personal with the people that normally are just little blinking lights on our board. You get to shake hands, and you're right. You have an impact. Talk radio, as I've known over the years, and you have too. It is family. I've met people. It's still unnerving a little bit to meet women who burst out in tears when they meet you. And it's because they've known you for 10, 20, 30 years. In my case, they were with me on the journey with my late wife. And when she got sick, and they experienced all that, when my kid drove the car through the garage door, they lived through that. They experienced that. So it's such, there's nothing like it, Shaun. And look, that's what makes you a success, because your authenticity just comes screaming out of the speakers, and you're a tremendous caller. And then I'm glad when I heard the news that they gave you your own gig on AM 560, I was pulling for you and cheering for you, because you're an original. You're the one. And so when Marcus said, "Hey, you want to be on stage with Shaun at the Freedom Summit?" I said, "Count me in. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Where do I sign?" So this is going to be a lot of fun Saturday.
During the hurricane, because I live in Naples. I saw this is not even a backup plan. I never knew. I'm a real estate guy, so I've been in Florida. And during the hurricane, the people at your studio were so magnificent to me, so wonderful to me. And even the old veteran at night, who I loved, and they're like, "You don't really talk to anybody except Mike Gallagher. He likes you." And it's just such a great place. And for the record, that was Dan Proff's car next to you. That was not me. I may have parked it there, but it was Dan Proff's car, not me.
Well, we've been reviewing the video surveillance to see who left the scratch, and I thought they thought it was Shaun, but maybe it's Dan. So we'll get to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
We're on it. We're on the case.
And you don't worry, you could take Dan. I'll help you. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. If there's anything we could ever do, really, we're going to have a great time. And thank you so much for making time for me tonight.
No, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'll see you Saturday. Take care. See you, Shaun.
You too, Mike. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong, Republicans are seldom right, and politicians are never, ever to be trusted. On AM 560, The Answer.